perspective on it?
Yeah, I think it's a good point actually, because the emotion was certainly there next day. I think any coach will tell you always want to try and win, and but on reflection now you'll be able to look back at the event, and I think overall it was such a win for the club. Over 8,000 people at North Sydney Oval, you can't beat that. Largest AFLW crowd in New South Wales history so far. So I think on reflection, I'm pretty comfortable with what we put out there. Lots and lots of improvement, but like every coach, you want to win, and you kind of focus on the result probably a little bit too much in this case, I think.
It's been a discussion point post-game. St Kilda's pressure inside 50, but also their ability to get it in there was quite good. Coming up against Collingwood, who dominated that territory game against Carlton, what strategies are you bringing in to combat that?
Yeah, I think the main one for us is we went up the corridor 68% of the time with our ball movement from D50, and just gave it back to the Saints too much. That's not us. That's not the way we want to play. North Sydney Oval dictated that both sides probably played into the hands of the Oval a little bit. St Kilda from a stoppage perspective, and us with a ball movement perspective. So we definitely want to shift the ball a little bit wider, and I think that'll be a key against Collingwood is to try and use the wings a little bit more where we actually had our numbers. So going through the corridor's fine when you're in the forward half, but in the back half, yeah, you definitely need to build the ball up a little bit more, and we just didn't do that and capitalise on the way our forwards were set up.
Is it those choices coming out of defence that you're really focusing on as well? Obviously, Brendan Tarrant read the ball really well, but maybe didn't use it the best.
Yeah, 100%. And it's the emotion of the game with so much going on pre-game. It probably, I think, helped from an energy perspective, but from an actual focus perspective, it probably shifted a little bit, and we just got to be a little bit smarter this week against Collingwood, who are an amazing outfit. Victoria Park, traditional home of footy, so it's a really big task for us. But yeah, we got to sort of get away from the emotion of being first travel and all the rest of it, and just focus on football and the football. I suppose what's the word? I suppose strategy, if you like, is that to stick to the game plan, to stick to the way we want to move the ball. But we definitely didn't capitalise on our intercepts.
Hi Scott, just a question. Collingwood, they're a team that you faced before. I think a few weeks ago you played them in the practice match at Blacktown. Started strong, then they were able to get some momentum, and I think post-match you mentioned that it was hard to kind of find a way to stop that momentum once they got going. What's the kind of strategy to the teams? I know it's a practice match, but is there anything that you can take away from that previous encounter to kind of learn from and bring into this match?
Yeah, we've spent the last 2 weeks since that game. Up until that game, we hadn't learned a couple of different ways to play. We really didn't have the time to do it, so we kind of learned one way to play, particularly with ball movement, and we were really focusing on learning something really well. Then the last 2 weeks, we've kind of focused on a couple of different ways to play. So, what we will be able to do is try to at least change the way we play a little bit if Collingwood do gain momentum, and then have Plan B, Plan C. So we're hoping to be able to implement that. And again, I probably felt on the weekend when we tried to implement things like that, the focus just wasn't quite right. So hopefully this week, one of the learnings from the St Kilda game was that if Collingwood do get momentum, then we need to do A, B, C, D, that sort of stuff.
Any lineup changes predicted ahead of the match? Anyone making their debuts this weekend?
Yeah, we got match committee tomorrow night. Certainly some players sticking their hands up for some game time, so we'll look closely at that. We've got to replace Montana Ham, obviously, so we're on the lookout for a mid. We've got a number of players that we think can do it, and it's going to be a look at Collingwood today. So we'll do that this afternoon, have a look at them, see where their strengths and weaknesses are from last week against Carlton, and then pick the side tomorrow night. So there's a very good chance that at least one player will make their debut.
Any update on Montana Ham's condition? I mean, obviously everyone's thankful it's not an ACL, but is there a sense of how much time she may miss or may take to have to recover?
Yeah, she's going really well. I spoke to her this morning. She's in good spirits. Off to school, which you got to shake your head sometimes and just realise they're still at school. But she's 3 to 4 weeks away is the time frame. Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. It just depends on how it all recovers. But yeah, great news. And it was just a knee strain in the end, and something that could have been really bad for Montana has turned into a pretty good story, really.